So to start with, we're going to raise a purchase order. And the whole point of this, what I'm about to cover, is around credit requests back to your suppliers for goods that either were damaged or not supplied. So this part is, as you would know it, raising a purchase order, all fairly clean. Next part of the process is where I want to start drawing it out the information. So we go through the receive screen, we pick up our purchase order. Here we've got a damaged column, shipped not received, so they think they sent the goods, but somewhere between them leaving their warehouse or a miscount and us receiving the goods, they've disappeared. We don't actually have them. Not supplied is okay, that's a legitimate back order scenario. Giving us a total amount shipped from their perspective, but not necessarily agreed on our part because we've got a receive side of things. So we go through that process. Most of you will be familiar with that actual process, not necessarily those new columns if you haven't switched this functionality on. And now let's talk about the invoicing. We load up our purchase order. Going to use the load PO button down the bottom in just a sec. And as per the purchase order received, the warehouse action, we've also got the ability to say, hold on a second, we had an agreed price and you haven't honoured it. It's in red because there is a credit request that's going to trigger off from this action. So once again, we've got those columns repeated, the quant damaged, not received. We've also got the ability to say, hold on, we had an agreed rate and we've also got the invoice rate. So if there's a difference there, that's highlighting up is greater than 10% from memory. That's going to now generate a credit request for the goods that either were overpriced or not supplied. The stationery that gets printed out would have your logos on top, like the debtor invoicing, etc. And as you look at these things that we're raising, full-scale comments as to what we're claiming and why we're claiming it, it's going to tie back to the original invoice. We're parking the costs against this special account called Purchase Orders Pending Credit. We haven't taken them up to purchases. We take the view that you're probably going to win the battle on the credit request. You may not. So we'll take that view to start with, and we'll park the costs not in purchases, but in this other account. If you don't, and we delete that, then we'll simply shift it out of the pending account back up to the purchasers account, and you would have paid full price. So the net effect of all of this is that you've got a credit request pending, they get back to you, we approve the credit note, the credit request, it becomes a credit note, everything's tying back to the original source, etc. Everyone's actually had that for a while. We've got more and more people bringing that online over the last period of time. If that's the modules you're running and that's of interest, don't just switch it on. Give us a hoy. We're probably going to set the stationery up. We'll give you a bit of a training video on how that hangs together and how it works, etc.